deals 5 damage, obviously. What's your overall opinion on the nerfs, Dust? Alright, I'm going to go through each one. Big Mike, let's have a look-see. The one on Ancient of Law, I mean, yes, it kind of needed to happen. I would have maybe liked to see the restoring health buffed a little bit. Like restore 7 health, something like that. Because going down to 1 draw a card and it hasn't changed your mana, it makes it a very fair card. But if it's a class card, it needs to be better than other things. Otherwise, do you know what I mean? Like when you compare this to something that Mage has, Archmage Antonidas, which is not getting nerfed, there's no contest. Like Ancient of Law, 7 mana, I get 1 card, you get infinite fireballs, very easily. It's just it's been hit too hard actually, just halving the draw a card value. Because Druid have a really hard time accumulating, you know, like with the loss of Force of Nature Savage Draw, they have a hard time accumulating cards. So you're just going to have to be playing Wild Growth, and you're looking, it's pushing towards an Astral Communion kind of thing. But with only 1 card here, it's not going to help. I think that's a tad harsh on Druid. The Force of Nature going down to 5 mana, 3/2/2 Treants. It's killed that card. That card will not see play. In a meta that's going to be bringing back a lot of Consecrates, etc., etc. It's going to be tricky. Like, that card just has no utility now. Like 5 mana 2/2. Well, what can we compare that to? Like, it's like a Silverhand Knight. Because you get a 4/4 and a 2/2. Here you get 3 2/2s. The treants themselves are actually nothing. They're flavorless text, so they don't really combine with anything. Going down to 5 mana, maybe it could fit into like a token druid, but it's pretty skanky. The 2/2 minions are just very static. It's like, if you was going to play that, you'd play Wobbling Runts, because you'd get a 2/6 plus 3 2/2s, and you'd get the 2/6 for just, you know, 1 extra mana. On the Keeper of the Grove, going down to a 4 mana 2/2, it has killed that card completely. I feel like that is one they could have actually stayed away. They've absolutely destroyed Druid. Just taking away the combo would have really punished Druid, but they have just, no, they've ripped out the soul and heart. Going down to a 4 mana 2/2, you're just going to be playing Spellbreaker over this. As I said, the dealing 2 damage is actually weaker than the silence. So 4 mana 2/2, you'd play the 3 mana 2/1 Owl over it, and you'd play the 4 mana 4/3 Silence over it. So that card is just, you know, the versatility of being able to deal with damage or silence is too weak when you're cutting off 2 attack and 1 health of stats off the minion. It's just, no, gone. See you later, Druid. Ironbeak Owl going up to 3 mana, yeah, that was required. Now you've actually got a decision whether you're going to play Ironbeak Owl for 3 mana in the control variant, or Spellbreaker for a more tempo-based, a more kind of aggressive-based silence, because you're going to be getting good stats for just 1 more mana. So Ironbeak Owl, yeah, happy with that one. You're still going to see a lot of silence in the new meta, is my prediction. They haven't like completely killed it. Because if they put Ironbeak Owl to 4 mana and gave it like a slight stat buff, then they would have to have done something completely different with Spellbreaker. Yeah, that's fine. Putting up 1 mana. Standard Blizzard nerf. BGH has had the 2 mana nerf to it. As we discussed this card earlier, the Battlecry was so good that aggro decks could put it in because the stats were fine. Like, it's 3 mana 4/2, it's still a fine minion in an aggro deck. You don't lose too much from that. But you get the destroy 7 mana minions. So going up to 5, it's kind of necessary. It does punish control decks a little bit. So if the meta is slow enough, BGH will be played, but it now will be a real serious consideration rather than a, yeah, we can just throw a BGH in. The Hunter's Mark going up to 1 mana. It has felt like this one has been needed, especially when big minions are going to be king. This card would be insane. So putting something from 0 to 1 mana is a big difference. We've seen it with cards like Soulfire. So yeah, that's just a fine change, nothing too exciting there. Blade Flurry up 2. It stops a lot of combos from Rogue, so the dream is to try and stop stuff, but they're already losing Tinker's Sharp Sword Oil. Rogue is getting some interesting cards though. Blade Flurry is their big removal. And here you can still compare it to like Flame Strike, because you can weapon Deadly Poison, Blade Flurry. You get the 3 clear and you get the utility of the weapon. That's a fine nerf, I think. That's actually a good shout from Blizzard. The Knife Juggler going down to a 2 mana 2/2. I think it is enough of a nerf, to be honest. With stuff like Flame Juggler deals 1 damage on Battlecry. It was all like when that card came out, we thought, why would you play this card over Knife Juggler? 2-3 stats are better. 2-2 is really bad. Dark Peddler gives you a whole extra card. You're going to need lots more minions out to get value out of Knife Juggler. It does not simply trade with stuff like Mana Worm and Tunnel Trogs if your opponent does not have something to instantly buff it. Pilot Sky Golem. Yes. So that one's fair. The Leponome, I'm still a bit worried about. 1 mana, 1/1, Death Rattle, deal 2 damage to enemy hero. I would have liked to seen it be a 1 mana, 2/1, deal 1 damage to an enemy hero. Because the Death Rattle is still pretty scary. It can be abused a lot. Aggro Priest all the way. Play that with Herald Vulture. The Arcane Golem has killed the card. That'll give your opponent a mana crystal. It's like... You've got the exact comparison to this in the form of Dancing Swords. 3 mana, 4/4. Give your opponent a card. It's pretty similar effect. If you go, oh well, you can just wait till turn 10. If you're waiting turn 10 to play a 3 mana 4/4, you're going to lose. So the Arcane Golem is just, you know, see you later. Wolf Rider is going to have to come back, which is a lot less. So it's punished aggro decks, which is kind of nice. The Molten Giant has, in my eyes, killed the card, which is kind of sad. It's a cool card. Maybe I think 22, 23 is a good spot to put it. 25 is, they've just gone, right, we need to make sure we've killed Handlock. They haven't actually done anything at all to stop Freeze Mage except the removal of Mad Scientist, which is kind of worrying. Master of Disguise, give a friendly minion stealth until your next turn. It's killed off a card that never had a real chance to survive, because it's given friendly minion stealth. You can just keep it stealthed forever. It's like Shade of Nax. Yeah, it stops combos, but they could have given the card the extra one thing. They could have made it a Yeti that gives something stealth. That would have been fine. But those are my overall opinions on the nerfs.